Reports the UFC is eyeing Dustin Poirier versus the Beneil Dariush. Now, is this real? Is this fake? Is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? Because we had Ali Abdelaziz, Dariush's manager, share on an interview, I believe with the Schmo, a day ago or like a day and a half ago, that the number 6 and number 2 contenders at lightweight would fight to get the winner of Islam Makhachev and Charles Oliveira. But we got some news after this, because I was going to go through this whole entire article right here and look at Poirier trying to fight Colby Covington, Nate Diaz, all that type of stuff, Beneil trying to fight Islam Makhachev. I was going to go through all of that type of stuff in this video, but, you know, we got a tweet right here from Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Has literally just 2 words: fake news. As of 11:40 a.m., that was like about 3 or 4 hours ago, he said just the words fake news, replying to like everyone saying that him and Beneil Dariush were going to fight. So this report right here is actually false. As far as we know right now, it might just be Ali Abdelaziz trying to build some publicity on the name of Beneil Dariush, whatever the case may be, but we don't know. I mean, there's still a possibility the fight could get made. I mean, Dustin already lost to the guy right above him, so theoretically he would have to go down. And if you look at all the guys, you know, below him in the UFC rankings, we have one right here. We go to lightweight. Who's he going to fight? Justin Gaethje rematch? Probably not. He said Gaethje should fight Conor McGregor, so that one's probably not going to happen. Welterweight, I really doubt he's going to move up and fight Colby. He'd get destroyed. Islam's fighting Oliveira. Chandler looking to fight McGregor as well. And then there's Beneil Dariush. That'd be a good win for Dustin Poirier to get at this point in his MMA career, and then maybe get the loser of Islam versus Oliveira and get himself right back into title contention. So I'm not fully off the train in saying that this is not going to happen, because he is saying the words fake news, as in Ali Abdelaziz is trying to actually make the fight happen. So as far as we know right now, the fight isn't looking to happen, but there's still a shot it does, because, I mean, number 2 versus number 6, number 2 coming off a loss, number 6 on a huge win streak. There's a possibility it could happen, and Beneil does not want to go down in the UFC rankings. So I think this is going to be a good fight if it ever does happen, but I mean, Poirier is saying it's not going to happen. But what do you guys think about this situation? Do you think the fight will get made, or do you think this is just Ali Abdelaziz trying to build some hype on his guy, Beneil Dariush? Put your thoughts down below. Who would win, Beneil Dariush or Dustin Poirier? Casey O'Neill provides a return timeline and targeted opponent for her next fight inside of the UFC octagon. She's been dealing with an ACL injury that forced her to withdraw from a fight with Jessica Eye back in April. I personally thought she was going to win that fight, probably by decision, but it would have been a pretty close one. But now, after the ACL injury and things like that, there's still a few more months that she needs to get to full recovery and full shape to get back in there and compete at the highest level. But she says December is going to be a little bit too early, maybe like a January, February, possibly even March return date would be good for Casey O'Neill. If everything goes well, I should be back to striking next month, striking, drilling, boxing drilling, and then within 2 months of that, back to sort of full MMA drilling. Maybe 2 months after that, it's wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So that's the timeline that they are giving me. I'm on more of an aggressive timeline in my own head. I'd say that I'm back to fully drilling by September, then back to live by the end of October, start of November, and then fighting in February. I want to get back in the cage ASAP. I would love to be in there by December, but that's pushing it. So maybe December through February would be a good timeline to come back for a desired opponent for Casey O'Neill. She says she wants to fight the opponent that beat her opponent that she was supposed to fight in Jessica Eye, and she would like to fight none other than the youngster Maycee Barber, who in the UFC flyweight division rankings as of right now is ranked, where is she, at number 10. So this would be a number 10 versus number 11 fight, which really doesn't do too much of anything. The winner there moves up one spot, probably just above Andrea Lee or something like that. Not really going to do too much, but if they get a win here, fighting each other, two young up-and-comers, kind of like an Arman Tsarukyan Mateus Gamrot situation for the women's flyweight division, it'll push them to get maybe the loser, Amanda Fiora, Caitlin Chookagian, maybe even get Miesha Tate, someone like that, Jennifer Maia, Viviane Araújo. I mean, Viviane versus Alexa Grasso loser. I mean, there's a lot of girls out there that they could fight with a win here, but I doubt it's going to happen. Maycee Barber, by the time that Casey O'Neill really comes back from her ACL injury, Maycee's probably going to be a little bit higher in the rankings and not looking to go back down all the way to fight Casey O'Neill. So what do you guys think about this? Casey O'Neill with the ACL injury looking to return around February, March-ish, somewhere around that time of 2023. Who do you think she fights in her return, and do you think she wins that fight? Put everything in the comment section below, your thoughts. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and that is our second story of the day. But put your thoughts down below. After that one, Ortiz's first fight for free. Okay. MMA fighter just 7 seconds. Jesus. Guarantee about Adesanya's next fight. Yeah, it's a guarantee for sure. But let's check it. Go on to the UFC's middleweight division. Dana White makes a effing guarantee about Israel the Last Stylebender's next fight. He says, this fight will be a blanking banger against, most likely, Alex Pereira. I mean, it could be against Jan Blachowicz. I don't know. Could be against anyone. Maybe Pereira gets hurt, gets injured. I don't know, but he's saying he guarantees you if this Alex Pereira fight happens with Israel Adesanya, it is going to be a banger. There's not going to be any tip-tappities or anything like that. Alex is going to stalk his prey, come forward, and it will be a good fight, says the one and only Dana White. After making his 5th title defense earlier this month at UFC 276, Adesanya is now in a rare field at air as one of the promotion's most dominant champions. However, the manner in which he's carved out this supreme reign at the top of the middleweight division, yeah, it's a little bit boring, says most of the fans. Like the Yoel Romero fight, like the Jerry Cannonier fight, and then maybe the second Robert Whittaker fight. But he does have some good performances as well, mixed in there like the Paulo Costa knockout and the first Robert Whittaker knockout as well. Prior to his Jerry Cannonier fight, he said he would deliver fireworks, and that's what I'm quoting there, against Jerry Cannonier, and he didn't really deliver any fireworks, went out there, cruised to that victory with a decision win. Dana is promising this one will deliver. He's not going to be another tip-tappity-tip-tap for 5 rounds and a decision for either guy. He's saying this one will deliver right here. So let's get the quote. It won't happen in this fight, says Dana White at the UFC Long Island post-fight press conference. When you're sitting here in my position, you can't give too many guarantees, you know. I couldn't say stylistically on paper this should be, you know, or we're gonna feel this is going to be. I effing guarantee you, I absolutely effing guarantee you that this next fight that Israel Adesanya fights will be absolutely batshit nuts. And I don't know. I don't know if you can make that guarantee just yet, because Adesanya was guaranteeing you that the Jerry Cannonier fight would be, just like this, a very, very good fight. So I don't know. I mean, it should be Alex Pereira and Izzy, two really, really good kickboxers, should go out there and make it a pretty good fight. But when there is 2 kickboxers, if one of them has really good defense, one of them has a lot of power, one guy might just be running away for a lot of the fight, and you never know. It could be like Israel Adesanya just running and countering for this entire fight, trying not to get hit with the left hand or a head kick or some big shot from Alex Pereira and get knocked out like their second appearance a few years back. But it's interesting. I think it'll be a good fight. I don't think it's going to be a guarantee it's going to be an absolutely amazing fight, but I think it'll be a good fight. What do you guys think? Adesanya, Alex Pereira, good fight or bad fight? Put your thoughts down below. Volkanovski reacts to Israel Adesanya. I'm joking. I'm going to redo that one. I said Israel Adesanya. I'm too focused on the last story we just did. Alexander Volkanovski reacts to Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev, and he says, I have the winner. Now, this is very, very interesting because we just watched Yair Rodriguez get a dislocated shoulder victory in the first round over Bryan Ortega. We saw Josh Emmett get a very controversial decision. So what I think should happen, I know Alex Volkanovski is saying he should get the winner of Oliveira Makhachev, and I am saying I agree with this. I'm saying Yair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett, interim title fight in the co-main event of a pay-per-view, maybe on the Israel Adesanya Alex Pereira card, and the winner of that one fights Volkanovski for the featherweight belt. But in the meantime, while they're doing that, the fight for the interim belt, maybe December, January, something like that, that's going to be roughly around the time as well. That, of course, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev are going to fight. And I think a few months after that, you got a pay-per-view with Oliveira versus Alexander Volkanovski. We got Alexander Volkanovski versus Islam Makhachev for the lightweight belt in maybe March or February of next year. And I know he has the hand injury and things like that, which does make this a little bit more complicated because, yeah, the hand injury just does. That's the only reason we're saying it's going to be an interim fight with Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett, but I think those guys fight in December. I think Oliveira and Makhachev are fighting around that time, like September, October. So I would say January, February, Volkanovski gets the winner of this fight. If he wins, great. If he loses, great. Whatever. He goes back down to the featherweight division after that to fight the winner of Josh Emmett versus Yair Rodriguez. But what do you guys think about Volkanovski getting the winner of Oliveira versus Makhachev? Do you think there should be an interim title created for the featherweight belt with Josh Emmett and Yair Rodriguez? What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? And who do you think wins these fights? Yair versus Josh Emmett. Who wins that one? Who will fight Alexander Volkanovski for the belt? And who wins between Oliveira and Makhachev? Put everything you got down below in the comment section. Make sure to like, subscribe. And that's it for that story. Bryan Barberena calls out Nate Diaz to take a beating. Those are the words from Bryan Barberena. I mean, after his last win, which was a TKO victory over Robbie Lawler, former UFC champion, he calls out a former should-be title challenger. I mean, after beating Conor McGregor, probably was deserving of a title shot at that point, but he ended up rematching him. But right here, I keep hearing Nate Diaz bitching about getting a fight. I'll fight your ass, whatever weight class, 170 to heavyweight, but I guarantee you come up with some excuse not to take the beating. What do y'all think about this fight? I doubt it'll happen. Nate Diaz is not going to stoop down to Bryan Barberena. He only wants that money fights, or he wants to straight up just leave the UFC. Bryan Barberena, Nate Diaz, predictions down below in the welterweight division. He requested a fight for the final time at UFC 281 at Madison Square Garden and will face whoever the promotion puts in front of him. But now we have an idea on who that person might actually be. Now, let's see who it's going to be. Honestly, I'm never want to call anybody out or pick anybody. I usually just let the UFC and Ali Abdelaziz figure that one out. But I'll say a name just because it's more of a legacy fight, Edgar said. And I know he's got a fight coming up and everything. And who knows how it could happen and how it could go down. But I think Dominick Cruz, he was a champion in the bantamweight division when I was champion in the lightweight division. Still both pretty much top of the bantamweight division. I still think that'd be a very, very interesting fight. So he's saying, win or lose with Dominick Cruz versus Marlon Chito Vera. He would like to fight Dominick Cruz if that would be a possibility. But there are some other guys in the bantamweight division that could be, possible opponents. That one guy, of course, Dominick Cruz, only if he loses to Marlon Vera would I kind of consider to do that one. Other than that, there's really not much besides going up to featherweight and fighting like a Chan Sung Jung, a Max Holloway, something like that. But that's really the only thing. I think Dominick Cruz would be a perfect retirement fight for Frankie Edgar. Make it a 3-round, 5-round, doesn't really matter either way. I think the fight will go to a decision, and I would have to go Dominick Cruz to win, but Still be a fun retirement fight. Who do you guys think would win between Dominick Cruz and Frankie Edgar? Put your thoughts down below. And that is it for today's MMA news. We got Frankie Edgar saying his retirement fight at UFC 281 in the Madison Square Garden should most likely be against Dominick Cruz. That is the guy he did call out. Another story that we went on was Bryan Barberena actually calling out Nate Diaz to take a beating, which is pretty funny. We got Alexander Volkonovski saying that he gets the winner of Oliveira versus Makhachev, and there's a possibility that that could actually happen. And the last thing, but maybe not even least, it could be the biggest thing out of today's MMA news, Dustin Poirier, Beneil Dariush fighting later on this year. But we confirmed and we looked at Dustin Poirier's Twitter, and he said false or fake news, false news, whatever the case may be. And he's saying the fight will not actually happen. These reports right here are actually false. But Ali Abdelaziz was the one that first came out and said Poirier, Beneil Dariush was in the works, or whatever the case may be. But what do you guys think about today's MMA news? Put all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Every comment does help with the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications. But all that being said, let's go watch some more of my videos. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.